Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to BioShock Infinite. So we've got a lot of upgrades last time.
When we pass through, we won't be able to return.
So we got all these upgrades in a small area, and now we're just gonna go through an area that says we can't go back, which is fine. Fine by me. We have this weird idea. We heard one recording that really screams to me like it's actually a recording that somehow made its way to Columbia from Rapture, from Ronald Frank. He's talking about the girl is hid up in the salty oyster and you have to just push the button under the register. But I seriously doubt that there is going to be a facility, a building called the Salty Oyster. Here we can see on the newspaper, anarchists are on the loose. It seems so crazy that people wouldn't have fled in fear faster than they did. That the Vox still are finding white people, rich, affluent white people, to kill.
Can you open this?
It's a simple dual dial lock. My book said most fools keep the combination no more than 20 feet away.
Let's hope we find one of those fools.
2940. And interesting, so we have to then find a combination on somebody, or like I don't think you can just put in the code. Is it right here?
Why are you so keen on lock-picking and code-breaking?
If you put a person in a cage, they develop an interest in such things.
I suppose so.
And I won't be locked up again.
0451. So, isn't the songbird just gonna tear the place apart, assuming she's here? I guess not.
Elizabeth.
Where'd she go? That way. Don't even care. Interesting, you can still bring up the cover from that area. And I'm in a cutscene. I have to really criticize them for putting her in that corset dress of her mother's. It's a bad fashion art design. You're supposed to be trying to protect Elizabeth and treating her kind of like your daughter, and it just seems exploitative and just wrong to have us in major cutscenes have the camera looking right down her cleavage just because it's become prevalent there. She would have been better just to stay in the outfit that she was wearing at the beginning of the game and not tearing it up, and frankly that would have saved them 2 outfits worth of production that they didn't really need to make. Nobody really complains that much in video games that the main characters or the side characters are wearing the same clothing, particularly since this whole series of events has been taking place for maybe a few hours, less than a day. We haven't seen him sleep or do anything.
Elizabeth,
Promise me.
I will stop him.
She's still wearing the cage necklace.
But promise me that if it comes to it, you will not let him take me back.
Look how big his hands are. That's a little out of scale.
Alright.
Those are like Shaquille O'Neal's hands around her throat. And so we're trying to have some storyline here, and I guess that's good. almost always inappropriate when he slams that. Why can't you just animate him to push a button? And it seems like we've just kind of raised into, loaded into a completely different section again.
Locks are tearing this place apart.
Yep. Definitely true. But what is the statement you're really making there? That we should have let Comstock continue and be
Now!
You bet.
and be in total control? Can I go down this way? Interesting. Revolutions are almost always bloody, it's true, but they're also often needed. And the sad truth is that in modern times, with the industrialization of weapons and bombs and so many better and more efficient guns, we may never actually see a revolution that succeeds without some other outside government's help. I guess we are here. Is the question. Grand Central Depot. Wow. There's a lot of things on this map. So, yeah, it gets to that. It does get to a point where, as far as revolutions, they're gonna happen. They probably should happen. Oops. One fall nearly killed me. We'll come over here.
Open it.
On it.
Grab some health. Grab some salt. There's a decoy. We haven't seen decoys before. And so what is this? It's just a guy. Is that what Book of DeWitt's supposed to look like? Just a frozen in time version of Book of DeWitt? Now we've got a handyman. Now if I was going to get this perfectly, I would have to hard break him. And I think I missed.
Great.
And see, it seems so crazy you would have to hit him in the heart every single time for an achievement. Because that heart is not a large enough target when somebody... We'll get some health and salt from that. I kind of wish we had fought more handymen. I don't want to... Still not dead.
Do it.
There. I lost some ammo. Okay,
More
catch.
ammo, please. And so we'll need some first aid kits. We've got a Vox ship that's just floating up here. It will.
Go ahead.
Done.
We'll take a breezy little trip this way. Here's an RPG. There's a good reason to come over here and see if maybe I can get some more bullets. So, yeah, a slight challenge there with the handyman, but not enough. Yeah, a volley gun right here. And we'll... Let's see, dismount over here and get some med kits. Which, by the way, they don't refill. So you don't have an infinite number of med kits. We were down this direction. Sounds like there might be a collectible somewhere around here. And is this one trip or is it all connected? It looks like it's all connected. So I could end up on that ship. That ship over there is moving away. I can't get on that roof, but I can get on this roof.
Now!
Done.
So I think I've probably found everything. And we're going to Comstock's house, which tells me to go up this way. This is a hairpin lockpick. Why would there be a Booker DeWitt that just stands around as a decoy? Unless maybe there's a universe out there where
I found some money.
making
Want it?
decoys is commonplace. Let's see, canned meats. This is the Founder's books. Again. We've already been to a Founder's books recently. Alright. Upgrade. Can we afford any of the other upgrades? We've unlocked a bunch more. In fact, we've unlocked a bunch more of upgrades for both of them. Good to know. Clothing on the ground. So what's interesting is it wants us to go this way to Harmony Island. And it seems like you're given a choice.
Is the city going to come back from this?
Yeah, I don't know if it is. The main problem with Columbia, just on the basic idea, is that the idea that it has no resources at all. It literally has no resources. Like, every single ounce of dirt in which you grow your food on. I hope we come back to this. Like, it would be really bad if it turns out that this section and this section are extra areas that we can go to, or that there's even any unlockable things. Because these are hairpin locks that they want me to open. This is Harmony Plains, and this is where we're supposed to go.
Back there at the shop, what you asked me to do.
Let's not discuss it.
No, what did that thing do to you?
If he were to take me back, that's death, Mr. DeWitt. Or something so like it I cannot tell the difference.
It's like how Booker DeWitt doesn't kind of understand being locked up would be horrible for your entire life is kind of crazy. Founders will bleed, apparently. And so we are here now. And I guess we're gonna go around and come back to these areas after a while. That seems to be their standard mode of creating things. I guess I'm happy that we never end up in the drains. But yeah, there's no raw materials in this game in Colombia. Like, you can't find diamonds, or you can't get more fish than what you can grow in a hatchery. I have no idea what this ability even does. Return the cinder.
Press to generate a magnetic shield. Hold to absorb damage and release to throw it back. Hold and release to create an explosive trap.
So it's kind of like telekinesis, I guess.
Strange.
So we've got all of the things now.
Look, her lockpick. Grab it.
And I don't think the game is implying anything like that the songbird did anything other than take care of her and keep her locked up. But that's bad enough. Humans don't live in captivity. Lots of animals can't. Can I upgrade anything? All those options, not enough money. Can I upgrade any of these? No.
Take it.
Did I catch somebody's attention over there? Like, that doesn't make any sense. What did I do that just put me in a fight mode and then took me right out? Somebody must have walked close to this. Is this another Chinese person? Like, there's literally, I think, been only one Chinese guy we've seen in this entire game. Let's see, we have a decoy, we have cover.
Open it.
All right. Watch out, sniper.
So, hey, we do search mailboxes again. They show up. Let's make sure we get back to that area. Where's the sniper? So we're still in combat, so until I get close enough to it, let's just say, he lies, you see nothing. How do I get up there?
I'll wait down here.
Like, yeah, there's no way to that point. So we'll just try to save some time. That was the worst point.
Seems like the Vox had chosen their favorite color.
Seems about right.
This is a hairpin
this?
lock, but I'm gonna unlock it anyways. There was another hook here, I guess I could have jumped around.
Go.
See, it seems strange that we would enter a section like this And then again, a bad fight to try to use this ability I just got. But this doesn't seem like... Oh, I can't get electrocuted. That's odd that I could stand on fire and not get burned, but I can't stand on electricity without taking damage. And see, this makes me think that maybe I should have opened those other hairpin locks. The game has decided to change the rules on me. Like, there's not even a voice recorder in here. Exclusive shopping, luxury living. Like, this just feels silly. Maybe that's why it has a hairpin lock on it, is that it gave you so little that they said we're not even gonna charge you for it. Seems like it's starting to rain. It would be really pathetic if we missed something in all of this. I missed the lockpick, but that probably doesn't matter one bit. Like, this game is already light, in my opinion, as far as story and gameplay elements. The last thing I would want to do is somehow miss major elements of the areas. We're going to Comstock House. Maybe we'll find that there's a different way. This almost looks like a section of the area that we started in at the very beginning of the game. Here we've got some weird music playing. It's Betty Boop, which again, I don't think.
It smells revolting.
That's funny. She's asking, use phonograph. Well, I don't want to get copyright claims, so I'll go ahead and turn this off. But yet another record from a stolen timeline in the future. A different dimension and a different time. See, there's not even a cash register here, so if there was a button under the cash register, that wouldn't do it. This whole area is about this music. That's all this. They have this weird obsession of doing covers of songs in old-timey ways, which is cool and all, but not fully part of the what we're supposed to be doing. It's unfocused. If this was a walking simulator where you walked around and listened to a bunch of music covers, I'd be cool with that.
Yes,
but
yes. More of your finest wine, James. Consider this.
So there, fine. I got the return the cinder working. And this guy actually survived. Is he gonna reward me for saving his life? Probably not. He's probably just gonna sit there in total fear.
See this?
What are you looking at? A gun? Yeah, I see the gun.
Some cash.
I couldn't care less about that gun. So, she was stabbed in the back with either cigarette cards or playing cards on the table. I would assume it's supposed to be playing cards, since people probably wouldn't recognize cigarette cards There we go. Lady Comstock.
Tonight, the Prophet moved against his political enemies. He preaches mercy, but 40 souls lie tonight dead in unmarked graves. If a man was ever unworthy of grace, it would be my husband. But when I was beyond redemption, he offered it anyway. How can I deny forgiveness to one who with love granted it to me?
So here's the deal, though. You can't really ask for forgiveness if you have every intention of doing it again. That's kind of just basic Christianity there. And Comstock clearly has every intention of continuously eliminating his enemies brutally. So he's running around doing whatever he wants with impunity because he feels he's got God on his side, which is a bad way to run your life. That's going to lead to a lot of justification of a lot of bad things. So I guess maybe the Lady Comstock record being there was also important. We've done the Return to Cinder thing, so I'm more than happy now to go back to Shock Jockey. At all 8 of our things, frankly, Devil's Kiss and Shock Jockey, maybe Murder of Crows, and of course Possession are the only ones I really want to use. The rest of them are worse versions or in some other way different that's not that good.
Can you take a look at this lock?
Looks simple enough.
So we're still going down this point where we are finding Hoarder. Apparently there's some enemies in here. So everybody's trying to kill us now. Not just the Vox and the military, but random people on the street, I guess. So if this guy's a hoarder, that means somewhere around in this dark area there's going to have to be something of value. Why do the locks shine? Like, simple bit of programming. When a lock is unlocked, don't shine. Killing an enemy from a skyline gives a 50% chance of brief invulnerability compared to when revived full health. I think when revived full health is still way better of a choice. And that's all it was a piece of... So we spent 3 lockpicks to get a piece of equipment that we'll never use. Well, I suppose we might as well. The last thing I'd want to do is have 50 extra lockpicks in my collection because I was playing it too conservatively. So it wants me to go that way, so we'll look over this way. This path making system isn't terrible. It works pretty well, and it rides that delicate line in which it is not obtrusive, so it doesn't point like a compass would all the time. You have to summon it with the up button, and that works really nicely, actually. It's possibly one of the best elements programmed into this game. I suppose each of these red things would be a Columbia, United States flag. And they probably downplayed the Columbia flags at the beginning more than they originally intended. Now you can have the red Vox thing. I suppose in some ideas the Vox might sort of represent the Soviet Union, because that's kind of where the ideas came from, although a lot of the communist and governments were really more fascist governments, and they just used the people's uprising to take control. See, we can hear a fireman.
Go ahead.
There.
So there's one that way. So have your photo taken here. Photography. Interesting. See, almost seems like you could sneak your way in there.
I see you.
I kind of feel like this kind of fight should have happened a lot earlier. Like, doesn't it feel like that? That as before the rally or right after the rally, when we were first exposed as the false shepherd, when escaping from the rally right now, seems like waves are kind of showing up, but like, but they're appearing so slowly. And it kind of makes all of these sections where stealing might have messed up your, nope, can't afford any of those. Might have messed you up and gotten you in the fights that you didn't need to get into. Seems kind of silly.
More money.
I'll take
Okay,
coin.
catch.
Tails.
Bet.
And see, I don't think I can actually make it up to that section yet. Was there something there, or was that just the reflection glitch? This game has way too many little reflections that show up. Like, even the cover, like, should be a lot closer to the central dot before you can activate it, instead of, see, when it triggers, it's about that far away from the central location in which you get that animation, which doesn't help. It should be more like it's either open all the time and then the tears are never hidden, or in the sense that you never see this edge of a portal and then it turns into that. It should just be like that with the black and white presentation. I have to look at every single door practically if I want to play this thoroughly.
Think you can crack this one open?
Looks easy enough.
Stage, Duke and DeWitt stage review. Why are they giving me so many of these? Jumping up from a skyline gives brief invulnerability. This is a chess piece compared to enemies provide ammo upon death. Well, I am certainly not going to switch out that here. This painter does not like any of these people, or the Vox don't like these people, so they painted over the painting.
In front of all the men, the sergeant looked at me and said, "Your family tree shelters a teepee or two, doesn't it, son?" This lie, this calumny had followed me all my life. From that day, no man truly called me comrade. It was only when I burnt the teepees with the squaws inside did they take me as one of their own. Only blood can redeem blood.
Okay, so that's a little bit of backstory that's interesting. So there was a rumor that Comstock was part Indian. At what amount? I don't know.
You know, I keep thinking about that dream that you had. New York on fire. There's something about it.
Now, that backstory, without getting into spoilers, actually is kind of odd, but I guess not that odd. It's possible that things would happen differently in any course of a different universe. And since we're in the third universe, the third Columbia, there's no telling anything at all, which is, without, again, I'm dancing around a spoiler, pretty major spoiler to this game, and so I sound like a lunatic, I'm sure. Let's see, seems like we can go over here and then get up here, and then there's literally nothing over here. I guess I can come over this side, see if there's anything over on that. Oops. These hooks don't work. They just don't work. Like, I get the idea. It's a cool idea. Look, he's holding the 10 Commandments instead of the Constitution. And there's a bunch of racist caricatures, which some of these people didn't even make it to Columbia. Or most of these racists didn't make it to Columbia at all. And see, that closed neon light actually is odd. There have been no neon technology up to this point. And this almost looks like LEDs. There's been no neon technology. Look at these lamps. In comparison, these could be gas lanterns. And yet we have this one building
I'll be down here.
with what looks like LED technology, a very small bulb technology, just out of the place. And then Comstock House Gate, I guess it's the same. And oh, I guess over here we've got more of that too. But up to this point we haven't seen anything like that. It feels decades out of place. Keep hurting myself when I fall down. There's nothing down here. And so I think I've done a thorough enough job so we can move forward. Maybe we'll come back and on the path of walking backwards, we'll find some things we didn't see. So this is the central location we started at. We've barely gone to the photo studio, which we saw, and we're here. So this entire area is not as big as I thought it might be, but it's still very built around the idea of going back to a central location. Or at least I hope it is. Otherwise, there's two major sections of the game we've missed. If anything, draping Comstock in these red cloths doesn't even make that much sense. Let's see, ZH Comstock. I don't even know if we ever caught what Lady Comstock's name was. There's all kinds of military barriers over there trying to protect Comstock House. Which, are we gonna find Comstock in the place? It's a little strange that there would be a battle here and neither side survived. So much so that that there's not a single person alive, it seems. Pick up this money. Pick up this money. Pick up this money. Can't upgrade any of that. Don't want to buy anything. You really can't really can't bother to buy anything at any of the stores if you're trying to get all the upgrades.
Take this.
That was an interesting way that was animated. Since she was standing right next to me, she kind of slowed down time. So I don't want to get too close yet. I want to see if there's possibly... I don't know why we need this this audio cue every time we walk near a locked thing. By the way, that seems a little crazy too. There's the memorial gardens of the Lady Comstock being killed by Comstock, but nobody knew that. Or Daisy Fitzroy knew it. And see, that was the one piece of information that it seems like Daisy Fitzroy didn't bother to use, was the fact that, no, I didn't kill Lady Comstock, Comstock did. Even if she didn't know for certain it was Comstock that killed Lady Comstock, which I'm saying the word Comstock too much, she still should have propagated that rumor.
Beyond that gate lies Comstock House.
So, we've got some flowers. We haven't seen flowers. And we have a picture of her. Even when she's pictured here, and she's wearing the same... Where's Elizabeth? When she's wearing the same thing, she has a coat over her, or covering her cleavage.
This is for the miracle child. Hello. I'm sorry your mother, Lady Comstock, is dead. I think she is altogether better than mine. Since you live there, can you tell me why the tower has been closed? People say it's poor weather, then the pox, then a haunting. If it is a secret, I promise not to tell a soul. Your pen friend, Constance.
So, what's funny is this girl, Constance, I believe is the girl we saw left a recording at the very beginning of the game, too. But I don't think she plays any bigger role in the story. I just think she's this little girl that idolized the Lamb, as they were all taught. Every people was taught to idolize the Lamb. I suppose it's worth mentioning that this is probably not even the second generation of people in Colombia. More than likely, the people of Colombia, most of the adults at some point lived in the United States and then came to Colombia. And we see more evidence to that in the fact that the lighthouse allows more people to come up here. I want to see, are we missing out on some side quests? No? Maybe we'll just find a key that we can't open.
Lady Comstock, how lovely to see you. Wonderful of you to make the journey, especially considering your painful death 19 years ago.
It's a computer of some sort.
The dress. The thing has mistaken me for my mother.
Like, this is the only reason.
Your fingerprints do not seem to be your own today, Lady Comstock. Are you unwell?
This isn't going to work.
I think it can.
Your mother's dead, Elizabeth.
Yes. I think it's time I paid my respects. Let's head to where she's buried.
So she took off the thimble and put it back. Okay, so good. We know now that we aren't going to end up missing the Memorial Gardens. We're gonna go dig up a dead body. Because that's something you do as a normal person. And again, let's use the telescope. And was the memorial monument place here, or is this some other building that this is looking at? It's like... It seems kind of ridiculous if all these telescopes were supposed to be looking at the Monument Island, and that's why they don't look at anything. But it also kind of seems ridiculous that there would be telescopes at all, since the buildings seem to move around, and it also seems kind of crazy that you would make that in your video game and then have half the telescopes not point or look at anything. It's just more evidence, in my opinion, of how this game was unfinished and lacks in a polish that it should have. Here. Or in that China shop, it seems. Another lockpick. 23? Do I really feel like uncertain with the number of 23 lockpicks? Not really. If I was down to even 15, I would be fine. I suspected the way it played out in the first game, in the first part of this game, is that we would always just find 5, and then that would be it. But
need some help with this.
Apparently, even the safes use less lockpicks now, so she's somehow leveled up in her internal ability. Another nice chunk of money. This is some kind of painter's house / pottery store connected next to it. Almost, I don't even know if the implication here is that the Vox did this, although I guess that red cloth implies that.
My mother's buried.
But maybe Comstock did it too. I'm just not 100% certain. I guess the Vox did it. And here we have the entire street is caved in and broken, which we haven't been seeing any of that. And see, you can just barely hear girls just want to have fun up there in the edge there. So There's a whole extra section here. So I think and I can't recognize this song because I imagine it's a piano version of some kind of rap song or something that would totally be unrecognizable. But this is the guy that has been stealing music through tears. Albert Fink, brother of Fink. Of the main Fink.
My dear brother, these holes in the thin air continue to pay dividends. I know not which musician you borrow your notes from, but if he has half the genius of the biologist I now observe, well, then you are to be the Mozart of Columbia.
So everybody's just stealing. Yeah, I think that's like a rap song or something. So, I guess that's a standard thing to say. Rich people steal things and use it for their own profit in some scheme or other. I am not really too upset with saying that is rather commonly true. Not all, but of course. Here we have a baby on fire and a woman who's completely white from being on fire. And see, this is the market district. And I really wish we had a map. But either I'm going to go through the market district on the way back, or this is going to be an entire section that's missed. But not a big deal either way. I'll try my very best to go through the market district. See, we are here at the Memorial Gardens, Lutis Labs, the market, and then back to the central location here in front of the Bank of the Prophet. Makes a lot of sense. Like, I don't think we're gonna miss out on all of that. If we do, that would be really bad. Just really, really bad gameplay design. And it wants me to go that way. So let's check this out first. Now, again, talking about how Columbia has no resources. Dirt and using land to bury people is going to be a bad move. Like, you would almost have to bury them to the sky, bury them in the sea, throw them off the edge. But they probably specifically made an exception for Lady Comstock.
There it is.
But then you see all these other people who are buried, so that certain people get this special treatment. You can also see shotguns here, so we kind of know we're going to end up in a fight. Which, just spoiling the surprise. Which, I guess this game does that a lot. Here this guy's in full mask and armor, and this equipment doesn't even look like the equipment from the first Columbia. They seem more decked out for war. And again, this might be a small attempt to be spooky, walking in the graveyard and all of that. But I don't think they pull it off at all in this game. Let's see, lockpick, a cart on fire. Here's a crank gun. Founder lies. This guy's hanging. So the Vox are destroying everything. The real question is, what is the Vox's plan? Because they can't just land and form a new country. Because they would be outnumbered vastly by the United States or somebody else. So, is their plan just to kill every single person that used to live here? We definitely want to get into this section. I guess that's it. They want to take over Colombia. Loved sister Victoria Locke something? Do we know anybody by that name? There's been a lot of people by that name. Looks like bodies have been dug up. Lutice, and a hoarder. So there's the two Lutices that were they supposed to be dead? Or have they dug their own graves in preparation? There's a lot of dead people around here, but that's not really any different than what we've seen. Slightly creepy when she shows up right behind me and she's got this slightly concerned look on her face. But understandable look on her face, too. It might be a more interesting story to tell if the Vox had succeeded and and by succeeding we were playing in a world that had this horrible secret where everybody that used to live here was gone, has been killed and replaced with the Vox. But that would work better in BioShock 1 when you saw ghosts everywhere, which is something that they've completely not done here. Although it would kind of make more sense to see ghosts in this game than it would even BioShock 1. I don't think we saw ghosts in BioShock 2 at all. And so there's a lock here, but if there isn't a lock here in this reality,
Alright.
then how is the gate being held closed?
They have her preserved in an airtight chamber. Her fingerprints will get us into Comstock House.
It's not even that
A mother who
Grace.
abandons their child doesn't draw a lot of sympathy in my book.
Take a moment to think about what you're doing.
There. Will you open the door or do I have to go in without you?
And so this also is the first point I think we've ever had to open the door without leaving an area, which again they're breaking their own rules of the gameplay mechanic. Also, unfortunately, we have $874 and 25 lockpicks. That's not unfortunately, but we've been going for an hour, so this is as good a point as any to end this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.